The lady yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Perry from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Wojcicki, when a customer comes to 23andMe, are there, I assume there's, I don't know, so I'm asking, there's disclaimers, there's information where you let them know that their data is going to be obviously used to provide the information that they're looking for, their ancestry, maybe their health information, whatever you provide, right? Is there information also letting them know that it might be used anonymously or otherwise for other purposes when they access your service?
Great question. I appreciate that. The goal of the company has always been about transparency and choice for our customers. And it's an area I feel incredibly passionate about, that too often in healthcare, customers are not actually given transparency and choice with their information. So when you sign up for 23andMe, it is not a simple process. There's a number of very easy to understand explicit consents, and there's never a default. So for example, if you go through 23andMe, we don't default you into research. You have to actively click yes. So during that process, it is easily a 10-minute sign-up
So customers
process.
are choosing to allow, and I'm just paraphrasing it the way I would say it, choosing to allow you to use their data as you kind of see fit with who you see fit, whether it's with a pharmaceutical company or maybe in this case, I'm not saying you do, but another country. Is that generally correct? I mean, they're choosing what they allow, right?
Correct. So we have it's a consent form that has gone through an ethics review. It's under an institutional review board. So it specifically allows us to do research, and only with qualified researchers.
So when you say, and this is moving into a little bit of a different direction, I'll probably get back to that, but when the data, you said it was discarded. You said you used the term discarded. Does that mean destroyed or just discarded?
Destroyed.
Destroyed. How is it destroyed?
I'm not aware of the specifics around how it's destroyed.
So it could be just thrown away. Look, I'm just asking that question because you can learn a lot by going through somebody's trash, right? And I'm not saying somebody did, but so in this context, as I read about you, bankruptcy doesn't necessarily mean the end of 23andMe. As a matter of fact, it seems like it means like it's going to continue under some other structure. Is that about right? It's not going away. It's just going to continue under some other, whether you buy it or whether Regeneron, 23andMe is not going, and the data is going to be around, it sounds like. Am I correct about that? Or
that's the
goal?
Correct, hopeful outcome, yes.
So is 23andMe precluded by law from selling all or some of the data or partnering with somebody that could do, are they precluded by law? And I'm asking the question because I don't know. Mm-hmm. Are they precluded? Is your company, or the one that you started and want to have again, is it precluded by any law from using that data or partnering with somebody that could use the data any way they want? Or is there any law that stops you from doing that?
I think that's a great question. I'm not an expert in all the different laws. Would like to highlight there was another genetics company that just went through Chapter 11 that was successfully just sold.
But you don't know, okay, maybe you don't know of a law that precludes. Should there be? Like, should there be, and look, I'm not for, consumers and American citizens or whatever have the freedom to make choices. And if you make bad choices, like I'm not using your service, ma'am. I don't want you to know. Like, I marvel at the amount of people that are concerned about the federal government's intrusion into their personal lives, but are happy to give private companies all that data. But that's their choice, and I wonder if it should be. Well, I think it should be. Mm-hmm. But what obligations do you have? So maybe the question should be, what moral or ethical obligation does a company like yours, or yours in particular, or 23andMe, maybe the better way to put it, what obligation do you have to safeguard that information from either being purchased or through partnering with somebody like the Communist Party of China or somebody affiliated with them or the People's Liberation Army? What moral and ethical obligations do you have?
I think the most important thing that 23andMe can do is make sure that we're always giving people choice. And I think that the most important thing in this process is to make sure long-term that customers always have that
Yeah,
opportunity.
I understand that,
to
ma'am,
delete
but you're
their
not
data.
answering my question. What obligation does your company or companies like yours have, knowing that this is personal information, that it might be, that it could lead to national security implications and certainly personal implications that are deleterious to those who subscribe? What obligations do you have or should you have or a company like yours have? What obligations, moral or ethical?
So I think there should be. I think that's why we're in a bankruptcy hearing where there is oversight on it and very concerned about where it is going. And that is specifically why I have put in a bid as a nonprofit entity to acquire it.
I yield.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Superman from Virginia.